Everybody ready to start?
Yes, sir.
You all ready to start? All right, start.
The secret of getting ahead is getting started. Now, Mark Twain gave this quote in the 19th century. He could not have envisioned the environmental challenges our globe would face today, which is why we need to start acting now, or we're going to devolve into society back to hunters with bows and arrows trying to kill the prey. Our team has created a social media platform called Be Clean. It is focused on diminishing the daily carbon footprint through creative GPS usage in collaboration with energy suppliers. My name is Brent. I was in charge of web development and relations.
I'm Moser. I was head of app development and UI.
I'm Eshan. I'm looking at the marketing and strategy side of it.
I'm Mohammed. I was looking care of the hardware and software part.
So our goals, if we talk about our goals, are like the four purposes. The first one is gamify cleaner and greener choices, and that way we'll promote energy uses, like thoughtful energy uses in the household, and maybe scale into industries as well. And that will embed the culture of fostering clean energy into the world, and also that will enable organic and practical energy transition that will be spontaneous, both for the businesses and both for the clients and culture.
So, two things that people enjoy very much is playing games and journaling. So we've taken these aspects of human behavior and we've created a platform that will develop a base of forward-thinking individuals. And the way that we do that is through our application, Be Clean, which acts as social media.
Yeah, so we have built this application. It basically allows users to create a profile and track their carbon emission. And it will also, they can also earn badges based on a bite-sized achievements that they can perform. We're also planning to include a small calculator which will help them input the most basic of things like walking instead of using a car, and how much, by which how much carbon offset they can do. So, yeah.
We'll also include, so as Mohammed mentioned, some badges that will be annual, monthly, and seasonal, so we have short and long-term incentives. We'll also rank on a global and regional scale, comparing how much people have reduced their emissions as opposed to people in their regionality as compared to the rest of the world.
I'll give an example. My colleagues were talking about the carbon emission offset. Basically, like if you walk instead of you drive, or like if you plant a tree, you put like offset some amount of emission just by yourself. So what they're gonna do, if I show you the actual data from climate.gov, like just for one example, if we just walk instead of driving, or just like cut down 1 mile of driving, 5% of people, population who has private cars to participate, like just over 4 years. If it comes down to 19%, we can actually reduce the temperature by 2.4 degrees Celsius or 4.2 degrees Fahrenheit. So why I mentioned 19%, because 19% of the private car users just are in the US. So like just think of like if people like really really participate in this campaign and just do their part of just driving 1 mile less every day, we can just solve the global problem. But that's just thinking too positively. But that might not even happen. Like if it's just too positive of thinking. But 25%, even like just 25% success rate, if everyone actually participates and does their part, we can reduce down like 1 degree Fahrenheit. That's like going back to 20 years ago in 2000. So what was the average temperature of the world?
So the second phase of our program is going to be to partner with businesses to incentivize them and foster capitalism in a greener future. And so one way that we plan to do that is to develop hardware that can easily track electricity. And there's actually a pretty linear correlation between kilowatt per hour usage and CO2 emission per pound. One way that we do that is using very, very tiny sensors such as voltage and current sensors to measure wattage. And then we can also measure CO2 emissions in a given region using things such as OBD2 scanners to measure car emissions in a vehicle. And we can also use like GPSs to track how far people travel. This is a QR code to our corporate website, so we can get some shareholders, some interest, and if you guys want to learn more about our website, you can follow this QR code and possibly become a donor.
Yeah, so the app we talked about before, we can also introduce some challenges which will make users to sign up on that and be more green friendly. And this device which he just talked about can be used in denser cities where where the population is more denser than the other developed countries. That way we can get more data and also perform predictive analysis and let people know by how much they can offset their carbon emissions.
Yeah, like what my colleague is trying to say, if we have like infrastructures in those countries, like modern countries, they can collaborate with us to develop the challenges and like local challenges. But denser cities who still doesn't have the infrastructure to actually provide the technical support or collaborate into our system, they can at least provide big data. And that's like denser cities, denser like residential buildings, think about that. They provide so much data we can promote upon with our AI system and improve the platform.
So earlier, Christian and Mohammed brought up data, and at BeClean, we highly value the integrity of our users' data privacy. We're tackling this in many aspects. For example, with travel, we will be using their GPS. We will totalize the data per hour and then dump it. Another way is through our business partnerships. So businesses can invest in our company through shares to earn carbon credit. These carbon credits can be utilized as tax credit from the government. As you can see, we have a very simple system of revenue where BeClean rewards our users with those carbon credits. The more you put into our app, the more carbon credits you will get out, which can then be used as supporting businesses. So on that cheat day, if you ran 50 miles, you can spend those carbon credits on your pumpkin spice latte at Starbucks. Then those businesses will reinvest into our company. This is our 4-year evolution of BeClean. We will start as just a simple base of social media. Then in year 2, we would like to start developing more of our carbon credit monetization. By year 3, we would like energy suppliers to be incentivized. Those companies that say by 2050, we will reduce our carbon by 50%, we believe they would be incentivized to invest in our company. By year 4, so this carbon credit, it's already present in California. We hope it will grow into the United States, and by the year 4, it will become global.
So if you look at our revenue stat, cost and revenue, we're going to start with a very small step. Like we are going, it's at a very small level and scaling down over the years. So the cost and revenue will be very similar. And since we're just providing a social media, and just getting us popularized into the people, it'll be very low cost. That's just also very low revenue. Even the cost will be higher. But over just 2 years, we think like if we can have enough, partnerships with different businesses and companies, we can also go public and earn like $5 million from trade stock. That's like the minimum amount we can talk about for a SPAC or any kind of tech companies that are going into these days into going public. So with that $5 million over the years, we'll be generating even more. And you can see the cost even goes higher. That's when I'm talking about like we're going global and we're making our own infrastructure, not renting like spaces. We're retaining talents over 3 years. We have experienced talents. And yep, that's how we make money. And
any other questions?
I love the ranking system that you're planning to incorporate, and I like starting from the micro level. I think that's really interesting. One thing you might include as well is the water consumption. So I think you're doing the energy, the transportation. Why not add your water consumption as well, just to
so we're targeting, like you said, from very micro levels. So we're incorporating even our devices. You saw, like it's very small. Like the sensors just come in small sizes. So we can just make the device very small and incorporate it wherever we want. Like in households, we can make a device for houses just for yourself. Even for the companies, they can put it up like high up on the flagpole somewhere. So where the chimney, the carbon just separates and averages out. So that device can be implemented anywhere, and we're mostly looking into carbon emission. So that's why like the water, we're still not looking into a carbon emission by action. So like if you walk, if you take the train, if you take the bus, how much carbon offset you're doing instead of driving. Or even like if you plant a tree, we're gonna provide those calculators. And there are like more companies like that that provide carbon emission data. And there's like governmental websites like climate.gov provide those kind of data too. Like, so it's already available. We can start at very micro level, just 4 of us for 1 year, then keep building on to it.
How do you go about getting carbon credits?
How are we going to implement carbon credits? It's based on the 1 metric ton of carbon offset emission is transferred into like 1 carbon credit. So we're just going to do the same thing in our system based on like the real data. the carbon offset amount of values and people how they generate. So like we actually did the calculations as we saw on the graphs that how much you can actually offset carbon values, and that value is going to add up. But it will be also weighted. Like if you just walk a lot, that can be, you can just walk, and earn the credit. They'll be weighted down a little more. But if you actually plant a big tree or like do more forestation, they'll be weighted more. So that way you earn weighted balance. And we're going to track like if you actually have done it. So like if you take public transportation, do you have a ticket to show us? And do you have pictures of your forest or your plants? So that way, like it gets verified. The ones that it's verified and does being done in bigger scale, they'll be more incentivized.
I think it's one of the questions I have is why create your own social media platform instead of just integrating with something existing? And I think it's a good kind of an interesting point that's brought up is like the water, for example. Like you could partner with utility companies to where they can import their data into your.
Yeah, that's one thing. So we can get rid of the sensor hardware module itself and partner up with the companies and incentivize them for letting their users to reduce the usage.
And you can point people with like green apps or like this is how they can be more green, like the trip-based stuff and earn other prices. But
Yeah, that was actually the direction we were planning on going with the business partnerships for data acquisition.
And we actually show with our data that just within 4 years, we can do 4 years of global carbon emission reduction. If we actually it goes into this micro level only, and if we actually can implement something like water, as you mentioned, we can put it there.
Questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you all.